Cold winter day, a yummy meal, big bowl of chili. Well, that can certainly warm up your spirits, but how healthy is that meal? Joining us today is Cone Health Dietitian Kate Watts to talk about how to make those really good winter comfort foods and make them healthy. We definitely need that, especially with Super Bowl coming up, all right? And how to get the kids involved in the kitchen as well. All right, so Kate, this is a tall order, but I know that you can handle it, so let's talk about it. How can we transform some of those classic winter comfort foods into healthier versions without compromising all the taste?
Well, a really easy way to increase the health value of your dishes is simply to add more vegetables. So maybe that's adding carrots or bell peppers to your chili. Maybe it's adding some spinach or mushrooms to lasagna or some cabbage or zucchini to soup. So these vegetables are actually going to add more flavor and interest to your dish and also provide that health promoting nutrient boost.
That's right. You're going to get a serving of something else that's really good for you, and you didn't even know that you were going to miss anything. Okay, so what are some affordable and accessible ingredients that we can swap out maybe in recipes to create those more healthy winter meals?
Well, whole grains and beans are both really affordable ways to not only add more nutrition, but also to bulk up your meal, which is going to take your meal further and save you money that way as well. So thinking about maybe using oats in meatloaf or other baked goods in place of some of the flour, or you can add brown rice and whole wheat pasta to your soups and casseroles. Again, this is going to add fiber and extra nutrition as well as take that meal further for you.
What I love about that is you're adding some things instead of always just taking away things. I think when we think we're going to talk to a dietitian, they're just going to take away stuff. They're not going to add stuff, right? And so you're adding flavor and other good things. All right. A lot of people love chili during the colder months, especially at the parties for the big game, which we're going to see. So recommendations for making chili healthy that still satisfies. You mentioned two things.
Yeah. So my family loves chili this time of year, and my number one recommendation is to avoid these seasoning packets that are really high in sodium. So using chili powder and cumin, some fresh garlic and onion is going to add a lot of flavor too. And then I mentioned adding in more veggies. We typically have tomatoes and onions already there, but think about maybe throwing in some mushrooms or carrots or peppers. And then the other thing to really consider is what kind of meat you're choosing. We can go much leaner with our meat in chili because we're adding moisture back in. So ground turkey or a higher percentage ground beef is going to work really well in a chili. And then lastly, you got to think about your toppings. So maybe, going easy on the cheese and consider a swap of sour cream for, say, like some plain Greek yogurt. And if you really want to get adventurous, you can even go completely vegetarian with your chili using tempeh or lentils instead of meat.
Okay. And no packet because have just a whole bunch of sodium? Is that why?
Most of them are going to have a lot of sodium. And if you look at the ingredients, it's spices that you probably already have at home or that you could easily, recreate that blend yourself.
And it's going to be healthier. All right. So if you're having that game day party, we're all going to snack. We know this. So how about giving us some ideas of some more nutritious snacks than maybe the easier ones that we've gravitated to in the past?
Well, personally, I just really like a dip for a party. And my favorite is cowboy caviar. And it's just a really simple, fresh and flavorful dish made of beans and peppers, corn, and some fresh herbs. Other dips like smoked salmon dip, hummus, buffalo dip, served with some hearty vegetables like your carrot sticks or broccoli or celery. That's going to add some flavor and variety to your game day snack table.
I do love that cowboy caviar, and I put a little bit of avocado in it too.
Oh, yes.
The black beans and the corn. Okay, that's good stuff. All right, for those wanting to make their food heart healthy this winter, just overall heart healthy, let's talk about some ways that we can do that.
Sure. So when we're talking about heart healthy, that really means it's low in saturated fat, low in added sugars, and low in sodium. So that means choosing leaner proteins, leaner meats, or more plant-based whole foods. And it also means flavoring with herbs and spices instead of so much salt. So for example, if one of your go-to comfort foods is, say, like French fries, then maybe recreating that at home by baking or roasting fresh ingredients and then adding back in that flavor with some heart healthy oils and those herbs and spices like, say, paprika or rosemary.
Okay. Here's my question. A lot of us use air fryers and they don't use oil, but they are air frying. So is that just as good as doing the baking the tater tots or whatever?
Absolutely. I think air frying is a great option. Again, we're just trying to lessen the amount of saturated fat, which is coming from those animal products, solid fats, and also preparing anything that is an animal product in a healthier way. So I think air frying is a great choice, right up there with boiling, grilling, roasting, and baking.
Gotcha. Okay. These are all good things. All right. See, not as bad as you thought.
The winter months, they can be a little dreary, and sometimes we find ourselves reaching for food as like a little pick-me-up. So practice mindful eating. Simply, put away distractions when it's time to eat. Slow down so you can listen to your hunger cues and your fullness cues and stop at a comfortable level of fullness instead of being overly stuffed. And then find ways in your day to get some enjoyment. So whether that's, listening to uplifting music, talking on the phone with a friend, or going on a brisk walk.
Okay, gotcha. Instead of reaching for something else as a treat for the day.
You got it.
Okay. All right. So a balanced diet, does that look different during the winter months than it does maybe in other months?
If you're eating seasonally or locally, it may look a little different, but overall balanced diet simply means that we're eating a variety of foods from all of our key food groups. So that means grains, especially whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and then variety of protein as well, whether we're eating animal-based or plant-based sources of protein. So that may include, beans, nuts, seeds, dairy, meat, poultry, and seafood.
Okay. Are there specific nutrients or food groups that maybe particularly are beneficial, like this time of year for like the immune system?
I love this question because this is why I really love nutrition. And there are foods that can help prevent sickness and disease during the winter months or just boost that immunity. And so just remember the 3 Gs: garlic, ginger, and green tea. Okay. Turmeric and citrus fruits and dark leafy greens, those are great things to include in your meal planning as well. And then really importantly, remember that nutrition's not the only thing to help your immune system. We've also got to get enough sleep, reduce stress, and make sure that we're staying active.
Okay, when you say ginger, it immediately makes me think of like my Asian foods that I like with like ginger sauce on it. Are we talking about that, or are we talking about like real ginger in some different way?
Well, definitely using ginger to flavor your dishes, and that would work really well with Asian cuisine. Some of the pre-made sauces, you may need to read that ingredient list or that nutrition label. Make sure you're not trading off something beneficial with something that's going to hurt your heart health, for example, like high sodium sauces. Also, herbal teas are a great way to find like a ginger peach blend or something like that to get that benefit as well.
Okay, that helps me out. All right, so for families with kids, what are some kid-friendly winter recipes that maybe parents can prepare with their kids, make mealtime a little bit more fun, that kind of thing?
Yeah, getting your kids involved in the kitchen early is a great way to start teaching those cooking skills that are age appropriate. And it really does encourage kids to be willing to try more foods. So I've found that with a little imagination, you can make just about any recipe kid friendly. So maybe that means taking like a casserole dish and baking it in a muffin form, like in a muffin tin. Or if there's like a soup you want them to try, maybe putting it in a mug with a straw instead of a bowl with a spoon. And then if you're trying to add in more veggies, maybe just dicing or chopping them up really fine. Those small changes really can encourage kids to try a greater variety of foods.
Okay, and when you said, maybe, think out of the box with certain things, some of us are not so great at that, right? So Cone Health, I know, has classes and resources, that kind of stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what might be available to us?
Absolutely. So Cone Health offers a variety of cooking classes at the Teaching Kitchen at Med Center Greensboro at Drawbridge Parkway. You can sign up for the classes and see what's available on their website. And we also have great access to registered dietitians. So if you want to learn more about working with a dietitian, you can go to conehealth.com/nutrition.
Okay, and so we're kind of wrapping things up. Is there any kind of final piece of advice or thought that you're like, okay, I don't want to leave without them knowing this about like winter meals and health and in a healthy way?
Well, we covered a lot today, so thanks for your time and having me on this evening. But I'd say the one thing to take away is the importance of preparing your winter meals at home with fresh, real ingredients. So, if you think about soups and stews or stir fries or, any of our comfort foods, pasta dishes, you name it. If we're preparing it at home with simple ingredients, we're going to save a ton of money and it's going to boost our health.
Okay, and we're going to be able to have control of our sodium and the sugar and all of that other kind of stuff too, where we don't necessarily know that when we get it takeout.
Exactly. Whether it's takeout or processed foods, finding a way to prepare it at home instead with ingredients you can understand is going to be a win-win.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we appreciate your time as well. If you missed any of this, this is going to be in the 2-Year Well-Being section of our website.